Could you say a little bit more about the situation with the Back 40 mine and some of the work that you're doing around that?
Yeah. This fight has been going on for quite a long time, actually. And the Menominee River is the natural border that separates Wisconsin into upper Michigan, and the river flows to Lake Michigan. Um, this fight has been going on for quite a few years. We we have been in this fight for, I would say, geez, 7 or 8 years. We've been just, doing everything we can to raise awareness and to try to be vocal and be present about what's happening. The actual mine that they're trying to propose is an open pit sulfide mine. They call it a gold mine. They call it it's my little girl. Excuse me. Um, so it's actually a gold and zinc mine, but the rock in which the ore body is sitting in is mostly sulfuric rock, and when added to water and air, it creates sulfuric acid. It's going to be a huge mine if it goes through. Like, we've been pretty successful in kind of delaying the project. They're tied up in court right now, and there's some other avenues that they still are yet to explore. The company is a Canadian company by the name of Aquila Resources. They are actually an exploration company. They've never had a mine. They've never operated one ever in their company's history. So if this project goes through, this would be their first. But we're pretty optimistic that we think that we'll be able to stop them. But, who knows in this day and age? And, a lot of times the good guy doesn't win entirely. But so this fight is something that, we wanted to hold on to. The most important part about the opposition, our stance in it, we wanted to hold on to our antiquity that is located along this river. Through just westward expansion and the things that have happened to us as a people, we are limited in the places that we can go to that haven't been developed, and we can say, well, look, this is where we were, for thousands of years, and our kids, are able to see like the actual workings and makings of our old people, rather than seeing houses or developed structures. So this particular mine has within the project area, has 3 known burial mound groups, and has prehistoric garden beds, and it also has I think the number is like 24 historical sites and prehistoric sites located within it. So it's very, very important to us. And like I said, we've been in this location for thousands of years. So this is like one of the last places that we have, others besides our reservation, that hasn't been developed and is still very wild. And it's an amazing place when you see it.
So you had mentioned a little bit earlier that it was where your people came from, originated. Did I understand that correctly?
Yeah. So our oral history states that our creation came from the mouth of the Menominee River, is where the first Menominee came out of the earth there, and walked up that river, and it was there walking up that river that it seen that beautiful eagle in the sky, and called down, and had that eagle come down, and they were both turned into men, and became the first 2 people of our tribe, as a Menominee tribe. And then they seen the beaver in the water, and when the beaver came out of the water, she was turned into a woman. That was the very first woman, Menominee woman. So that's a very just like a 1% of that story. It goes on for many hours, but that's what we were taught, what we were told as Menominees, that's where our birthplace is.
Yeah. So clearly, like for any group of people, a place of origin holds great significance, and I can understand why you'd want to work to protect that.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to further that point is we had worked with the city of Marinette. They were doing some improvements down at the mouth of the Menominee River, which the mouth of the Menominee River is between Marinette, Wisconsin, and Menominee, Michigan. Um, Again, they call the city of Menominee because of us. It's on the Menominee River is because of us. But we worked with the city of Menominee when they were doing improvements down at the Menikanaehkem harbor. They had kind of make it more um, like user friendly. So they've added some docks, some walking areas. We First of all, the first thing that we proposed that we wanted to do was when they cleaned up the river and got rid of all the PCBs and all the things that were in that river. The first thing we wanted to do was to help to reseed that river with wild rice. So we had a huge gathering there. We had a bunch of our school children, a lot of our traditional elders here from our reservation. We went there and we reseeded that part of the river, and then we worked with them to establish a um, I don't know what you it's a 13-foot bear that has all our clans on it, and it has our oral history. It has the story of how we came to be as people. I wouldn't say monument, but something like that is what it
Sure.
is, and it's there now. It got erected there last year,
Wow.
and the bear is in resemblance to our one of our local artists who since passed away. Carved a bear out of a butternut tree, a 400-year-old butternut tree that was on our reservation, and it sits in our museum. So the bear that's up at the mouth of the Menominee River is a copy of that.
I've seen that wooden sculpture. It's an amazing piece in the museum.
Yeah, beautiful, it really is.
Yeah. You mentioned collaborating on this work with the city of Menominee or Marinette. I'm sorry, which of the ones it
Yeah,
was.
fair enough.
Are there other groups and individuals who are working with you on the Back 40 mine right now?
Yeah, there's actually quite a few organizations. You know, at this point, they are locked up in litigation right now. In like there's not a lot of groundwork to be done. There has been no shovels in the ground. There's nothing like that. But the organizations, that have been helping along the way is the um, what is it, the Wisconsin Resource Protection Council, Dr. Al Geddick's River Alliance. They've been doing a lot, and the Front 40 group, who's really is the organization that was there before everybody, doing a lot of the work. Um, but there's a Save the Menominee River Coalition that have been doing quite a bit of work, and a whole lot of landowners as well. We've also been working with some other tribes to help out in Midwest. What are they? Environmental advocates too have been very instrumental.
I understand that there is another proposed mine going in within that affects your people along the Wolf River. Is that right?
Well, not yet. They are proposing to do some exploration drilling. I'm at the headwaters of the Wolf River, which, yes, is one of the last natural rivers or scenic rivers. It actually flows, into Lake Winnebago. So it's a major it's way up there in Oneida County and flows all the way down to Lake Winnebago. So it's a major river. It's very, very what's the word, connected to us as a people. It flows right through the heart of our reservation, as you kind of mentioned. They're doing some exploration there. The thing about, like the Back 40 mine, we kind of didn't come into it until the permit was put into the state of Michigan to propose a mine, And by that time, we were already behind the game, and we tried to play catch up as much as we could. This one, we are actually out in front, and we're right there. They're planning on doing something on June 1st to start the actual exploration drilling, and we may or may not be there to try to halt that. I'm not sure what's going to be planned, or what's going to happen. But the thing is once a company like this actually gets the tools in the ground, it's a heck of a lot harder to stop them than it is before they even get the tools in the ground. So we're in a pretty good position. We've already started organizing around it, and there's quite a few tribes and organizations already on calls that we've been doing weekly to discuss strategy. And so with this exploration drilling is basically they're looking to see what's there. I mean, most of us already know what's there. We know what they're going to find. I think they do too, but hopefully it doesn't get to a mine. But right now, at this point, it's just exploration drilling. I don't mean just exploration drilling. It's still very invasive, and so we're hoping to slow that down or stop it entirely.
Now that the company that's doing the exploration drilling has connections to the company that's doing the back 40 mine. Do I understand that correctly?
Yeah. So it's what a tangled web this is. So Aquila Resources, the gentleman that worked for them is Tom Quigley. He no longer works for them, but now he runs this company called Badger Minerals
Mm-hmm.
LLC. So the thing is um, if the back 40 is a go, they're going to have a processing plant there. There was if you can remember, a mine back, I think in the 80s, called the Flambeau mine. And but one of the reasons why they were able to do that then was they weren't doing any processing in Wisconsin or even in America. They were shipping it up to Canada and processing it up there, and then getting it back. And the reason for that is when you do the processing, I mean, that's a lot of waste rock, a lot of sulfuric rock exposed to air and tailings and all the chemicals that you have to use to do this type of extraction. So the company is Badger Minerals, and they are relatively small and kind of unknown, so we don't really know exactly like who they are entirely. I mean, we know a couple names are on there that are familiar, but I think the overall idea of Aquila is that if they get the back 40 mine project up and running, they'll have a processing plant there. And because last year they were able to strike down the mining moratorium here in Wisconsin, um, that this like wolf, I think they call it like the Wolf River batholith that's underneath the ground in this area is has a lot of gold and zinc and things that they would prefer. So we're thinking that they're going to try to do that. Aquila actually owns some land in Reef, and the Reef project and the Bend project as well here in Wisconsin too. So we're thinking that they're probably going to try to get these smaller projects going, and they'll just ship all their material to the back 40 mine processing plant, process it all there, but they'll never tell you that though.